hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. It all depends where this live will meet you. My name is Comrade Sweet Bonita. Today is the 20th of August 2023. Now it's 6 minutes past 7. This evening I'm here with my boss, Comrade Owan Kasu, the man behind the media team. And again, you are watching us live on the APC Diaspora online TV platform, the mouthpiece of the APC in the diaspora. And I think if I said I'm going to introduce my boss, I'm not going to do justice. So I will allow him to come in and introduce himself so that he knows. I'm sure we've missed him for a very long time. But I want to say welcome back to the coordinator.
Thank you very much, Sid Bonita. This is Comrade Owan Kasu. Yes, on a good evening, on a good afternoon, on a good morning. Me and Comrade Owan Kasu. Yes, I've been disappeared for some time, but thankfully I don't come back. I'm doing very, very, very well, and happy for joining Sid Bonita and the rest of the team. I want to say thanks to all the team members. Them, we been the manage the platform. We are not been there in my absence, and I want to tell them plenty, thank you, and for make the platform don't grow to a level where are not being left out. So this is all about teamwork, and really appreciate that. Thank you very much, Sweet Bonita, for come again, introduce me on the platform. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Commodore Wankasu. Again, as we said, this afternoon or this evening, we're going to discuss in Syria. We can all see what is happening right now. There are so many things we will touch on whilst we're on the supplementary budget because, again, we all know everything has interrelations in Sierra Leone. So definitely we will try to touch on different areas. For example, we're going to touch on the members of parliament because, again, we are finding out that Abbas Bundu and that over Mohammed Kane says they're going to go into the second list. So that's one thing. And second of all, want to congratulate and also talk about the protests that have been going around the globe because, again, we've seen it has become now one of the best. I can see the history in our country that America, UK, Netherlands, Belgium, Sweden, and Australia have started taking part on this protest. Even though, yes, we know most of the parliament are on recess, which means they're on holiday, but people are still making use of the ones that did not go on holiday that are still around. But again, we want to say thank you. Today, this evening, we have a guest by the name of Cash Box. When it comes to economy, I think that's the man we need to come and tap on because he's always giving us what we need to know about the economy. He advises, he encourages us, and also educates some of us on it. Because for me, I'm not an economist, so definitely every time I have him, I'm learning a lot. But I think I would like to introduce the guest this evening. He is no other person but Cashbox. Good evening, Cashbox, and welcome to the APC Online TV platform.
Good evening, Sweet Bonita, and thanks for having me. Is this an English or Creole program?
Creole, please. It's Creole.
I guess you're an English woman, like that's why I asked anyway, because just if it is English, you save me. If it's Creole, you save me the day. So I'll keep me English for the waiting Monday. Yeah, but yeah, thanks for having me.
Please forgive me. I'm gonna be trying to be doing this Creole thing, but please forgive me.
You're forgiven. You're forgiven. Thanks for having me, and it's been a while actually. I've not been on this platform, for one reason or the other. Like I guess, like I think some of the reasons could be maybe some timing.
Yes, sorry, we're having technical issue with the guest. His bandwidth is a bit low. Whilst we are on that, we'll be able to get him back so that he can able to tell us on the supplementary budget. As I said, this evening I'm going to be coordinator. It's a It's one of these things. It comes on a daily basis. But again, while we're waiting, let me just show some of the pictures from the protest. This was the last one that we have in the Scandinavian. I want to say thank you to the Scandinavian team. There was also one for the Netherlands. There's one for Bulgarians. And also we have one in Australia, the United States, and also the United Kingdom. But whilst we are waiting for the guests to rejoin again, just wanted to inform our viewers that on the 28th, the Black in the Park will be having a protest. They're going to have a 1 year anniversary. We all remember when during the COVID, there was a Black in the Park in Borges Park. So again, the same thing is going to happen again this year in Borges Park. So definitely we are advising everybody to come on board. If you need any information, you can contact us on the TV platform, and then we can send that message directly to the relevant team that are dealing with Black in the Park. But again, we have our guest. Let me see if we're able to bring. Welcome so much. Thank you for coming back, Cashbox. Thank you.
You're welcome. I could hear you, but I'm not sure if you guys were getting me anyway. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, thanks for having me. It's been a while. I've not been on this platform at all, but you know, my door is always open for this great platform, and of course, like you say, Owen Castle being the boss, he has a very good way of bullying people when he wants you to come in. So yeah, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Well, to be honest, I don't want to use the word bully. I think Commodore Wankasu think we needed to use you for the right purpose. And when
Yes,
it comes to finance and Sierra Leone, I think you are the man we need to tap on. And I can see from the last time you've been here, we haven't talked about any finance or got into in depth of it. So this is why you have not been. We want to keep the morals on people that have like the professors in their own field. So this is why you are here. But again, I think for the viewers, just wanted to ask if possible, you are able to explain to us the meaning of supplementary budget and what is the impact on our country. Because again, we are seeing what is happening. For example, we heard from the ambassador, the American ambassador. So what would that affect our economy? Because again, during finance, we're going through the economy.
thank you. By the way, I love that because I did a very quick audio about this whole supplementary budget. I think we will go in detail as to the meaning or even like budget itself. What does budget actually mean? It's not, I mean, we can talk about waiting, may I know, follow you footstep for begin to talk English. Me on bayan English there we get. So, but anyway, like we can even try for kind of like define waiting budget mean. Waiting budget's really supposed to mean for the people of Sierra Leone. And, like the supplementary budget you talk about, basically, it's a shame. It's like a shame for make like the government, a current government, a government when I on day for over 5, 6 years, they actually produce a supplementary budget. That is in itself a kind of like the show say the government not they in control and they not actually know within then they do. I can give example. You see, use the UK as a base case scenario. Um, when the UK they always do like a budget, like a supplementary budget, it's basically because like there is a new head of state. Man, I say head of state. Sorry, a new prime minister because the king, queen, now the head of state, now the UK. But a supplementary budget, not in a way as the name implies, it's basically like for make you can add it to something. For make you can complete something. You come with, you don't kind of like in a way deviate from the original plan. Let me give example to the UK. I remember when you know, Boris Johnson took over from, is it Theresa May? He came with a new plan, a new economic plan. So he had to do a supplementary budget. When Liz Truss take over, she had to kind of like do like because again Boris Johnson in message was all about Brexit, all about getting Brexit done. So in a way, it therefore makes sure say it realign with the country in budget with in plan where it come with about getting Brexit done. Okay, can you guys hear me? Because
Yes, yes. No,
okay,
no, no. Yes, we
right.
can hear.
Right. So, in your message was to get Brexit done, and then you get Liz Truss, we actually come, you know, it come with your policy, you know, about like lower tax regime and all that. And believe the fact that like if you reduce tax, it you kind of like improve the economic base, the tax base, and all that. And it, where we see it fail woefully. Although you see again, this is within I can always say, all policy workable, but is it right in a particular environment at a particular time? Every policy, every economic policy could well be it is workable, but is it again? You see, and this is waiting. I don't the problem why I don't get it with this government. You see, all the thing them whether they implement or try for do they are all textbook policies them and thing them when they can force upon the people because the textbook tell and say, oh, this thing is bad. Again, I give example before I come to the supplementary budget back. Generally, then they tell you say like if you increase tax, it is good. But in a particular environment, is it good? If then go tell you say, in fact, recession, where sometimes the most simple man go no say recession, now bad thing. As I talk to you right now, economists them they actually kind of like say governments them for willing for make recession happen so the inflationary problem that the world could be fixed. Imagine this now recession we they talk about. The big economists they say make we go into recession just so we fix the inflationary problem. That tells you, the problem we get now in country, like people that textbook knowledge where they get where they don't tell and say, oh, recession is so bad that like if you try you they fail and all that thing in it. The reason why I say this now because like it go back to like the old thing about the tax, supplementary budget. Why people and they come up with supplementary budget? In other words, like the word supplementary basically means you either they can't enhance something, you can't add to something, you can't complete them and all that thing in it. But this government has been in power for 5 years. Same president. They have a vision. They should have a vision of whose side the country they go. For me, you come now and do a supplementary budget based on waiting. And the sad thing, again, I talk about Liz Truss in policy where he come with. Even though Liz Truss believe like Liz Truss he come with a lower tax regime, say for reduced tax, so it will kind of like broaden the tax base, it will encourage people to come. But the problem where Liz Truss face now the fact that at the time the UK and the world they suffer with inflation, reducing tax is going to kind of like exacerbate, make the situation of like the inflation problem become worse. This is the reason why it failed woefully because we see like the yield curve, like the UK bond market and all internet were struggling because like even though like it is applicable, in fact, one economist actually say the UK they try for adopt like a policy where like the third world country them for the adopt for the reduced tax. Now in the UK is a matured market. Them increase a reducing tax is going to make the inflationary problem become worse. All of these things kind of like the reason I say this is when Rishi Sunak came, they came with their own policy. They have to kind of like Jeremy Hunt give another budget again. Liz Truss, like this guy, what was his name? The Ghanaian guy. like had to do a budget, and then when is it Kwesi something Kwesi anyway, and then like you get Jeremy Hunt, who is the current chancellor under Rishi Sunak, doing like a supplementary budget. So again, people, but this we get a government, a leader, when say it gets a vision, when because your vision should not be short-sighted. Like when you draw up a budget, like you're not supposed to kind of like look usa you day. You're supposed to kind of like look at it holistically. In fact, budget's nothing where they estimate in the future. But do you know you get people and when they sack for getting the budget wrong? This government will tell you, say, there are things that where they're outside their control. You see, this is the danger. And I do know I will come and like I will make you come inside and make people and come. Just for me, just the opening paragraph of the budget, it turned me off completely, and it make a no say the finance minister and the government do not know what they're doing. But we go come inside and talk about it later.
Thank you so much, because I think as you were mentioning about the opening statement from the Mr. Madabio right now, he says on the 11th of November 2022. So this is that within 6 months he's having a supplementary budget, and he said this is when you're taking over. Yeah. So one of the words he used, or one of the statements on the second paragraph, he says, well, it doesn't work with the IMF framework. Yeah. This is why they are doing another supplementary budget. So why they did not sort that out within the last 5 years, and now that they just realized, and these are the people we always see dancing that, oh yes, we're having some fundings and stuff. So why is it not working? Because we've seen again now they have a new finance minister. The ones that they had for the last 5 years, now there's a new one. So it means that they are truly not ready for the people of Sierra Leone. Because at this point, what we can see is the government will put one rule today and then tomorrow they change it because it's not working in their favor, because the international community have said, well, this is not what it should be. Because in his statement says it doesn't work with the framework of the IMF. So
that's
how comes? Why would that be on the 11th of November?
Thank you. I'm glad you picked that up, Sweet Bonita, because that is it's so sad. It's so immature. It tells you that these people just do not understand what they are doing. I mean, like what you say, so like the opening paragraphs, them like I mean, I think like chapter 3, where it actually said the original revenue and expenditure projections were based on which they were based no longer hold. You know, you come back and look at it and say within 6 months you had to do another budget and say the assumptions that were based on no longer hold. I mean, for God's sake, Sweet Bonita, let these guys then tell we which you know all. If you read down the line, they kind of like make example. I think they talk about the currency,
inflations.
Yeah, the currency, the depreciation of the currency and all that. These excuses are all within their control. Like,
but then, whilst we're on that, I just want the viewers to also cast their memories back. These government, the previous governments, Madabio says, within 6 months, they will fix the economy. And after 5 years, they are still telling us that whatever policies they've put in place is not working.
Absolutely. And you see, if you read at the 4th paragraph, Sweet Bonita, it says, like, it said at the same time, new expenditure. First of all, the 4th paragraph, it gives this, you see, we country, you know, we left we country in the hands of people mediocres. We left we country in the hands of mediocres. Make no mistake, you know. But if you talk this talk, unfortunately, people are so fixed that you know we on our APC versus SLPP, like you know, then they label you as APC. But as like the documents like this going out, preaching like the excuses for doing a supplementary budget, it's so childish. Oh my God, I saw this line, like seriously, it just turned me off completely. The 1st paragraph, Sweet Bonita, it says, second, some activities implemented by MDAs were not sufficiently budgeted for due mainly to limited fiscal space. You serious? Do you tell me say waiting the MDAs that implement was not budgeted for? Who say would have been there? How did you draw up your budget for the MDAs in the first place? What was the basis for drawing up the original budget? And you tell me say we're not sufficiently budgeted for. Waiting now on a basis, like step by step. So monitor. If I want to draw up a budget for this platform, I want to know how many people in the work on this platform. I want to know how much una they pay for like the tool where una they use. I want to know the time them where una they pay to una guest. Although me na free guest. Like you don't have to pay me. I want to know these things. I want to know like how many guests them una they expect for use every week, every month. You draw your budget on that basis. How can you tell me a government, a responsible government, telling us that the reason why they are doing a supplementary budget, it is because the budget for the MDAs were not sufficient? And what did you use to draw up your budget in the first place?
You know, when you talk about the MDAs, I think those are the most expensive paid people in Sierra Leone. And again, as we know that when it comes to what would I say? When it comes to auditing, these are some of the offices that they can audit. Like when they told you it is wrong for you to audit the office of the first lady and that of the president, which has been going on all this years. But within this the previous administration, it's impossible. So what is happening? Where are we? Where is Sierra Leone going to? Because if you are paying somebody that kind of amount, says what they have done did not work with the people. Because one of the words they used, they said to feed Sierra Leoneans, to consolidate the grains, to boost food security. This is something you told us you will fix in 6 months coming into governance. 5 years down the line, nothing has happened. What is going on?
Sweet Bonita, look, you see, when I say this with all seriousness, that Salone, we know serious it. Salone they run right now by group of criminal cartels. We not even get a clue of waiting how the world should be like, how a country should be like. You know, Sweet Bonita, look, it's not a rocket science. The problem Salone they face is lack of exposure. I tell you, how a government they produce a budget, they tell we say like, oh, now because of the continued global rise in prices of goods and services. I get it. You see, but the problem what we face is the fact that why goods and services they go up in the world. Sweet Bonita, you see, I always say this. When you look at Africa, you know, I did a video like yesterday on TikTok. You see, when you look at Africa, the reason why things tend to go up, I tell you, Africa, the problem what we face with inflation right now in the world, Africa play a lot into it. This mess where the world dip and so Africa play a lot because all Africa seeks they do now for just to consume, they cannot produce. Even though we get what it takes for produce. Again, let's go like a step, like listen, like a debate. Who side this woman? She was the AU ambassador to the US, Ariana Kiombori. You know, where she was talking about, you know, the current happenings in Africa. She doesn't want to refer to them as cool, but rather like, you know, an ideological realignment. You see, Sweet Bonita, what did inflation actually mean in the first place? You know, inflation means now when boku money they chase new goods and services. Sweet Bonita, let's go to Salone. Let me specifically look at Salone. We timber them, then cut we tick them for years, for 2 years when China was on lockdown. China, if China not been on lockdown, therefore they produce thing there within timber then they. We cut, we tick them. We wait for 2 years. Those then tick them they be there now. I mean, ask people within a salon. Where from Waterloo, Estin, Grafton, and all that thing they to Mashaka, they be laying and tick there. They wait for make the export to China. So in other words, they telling them money they don't flow. They give Africa free money. They give people in the UK like the follow scheme. The America they give them money and all that thing they do. Money and be the flow out all over the place. And do you know inside COVID, 2 years of COVID, there just in America there was excess reserve of 2 trillion with a T, $2 trillion excess reserve. Investors then be they wait, then be they look for who side to go invest this money. Africa, we should not be wait for make them give it. In fact, I don't think in themselves, if some man for a mangotic self, he died in the same COVID. They cooked up their figures because for making give them free money instead of us producing something for the world. Wait till we see the timber. Like, and nobody will tell me, say, oh, well, we're not getting machineries there. Okay, we're not getting machineries there. But excess reserve been there just in America, where investors were looking for who side to go put their money. And guess what? The investors, they're not like to put their money in one place. In fact, they tell them where, imagine, the worst of China and America and the West is still better than Africa will not be a better case of COVID. We did not produce. And not only, and I can always say, during COVID and the Russia war, we don't take advantage of it. And example where I give, where I always been on to talk about it, like the COVID, the Russia-Ukraine war, I said Africa could have taken advantage of it. And guess what? One of the things that when Russia and Ukraine war, I think one gas pipe they were bigger problem with Russia. You know what in the West do? Right now, the problem within the face now Nigeria. I watched a video where it be say that they try to get gas from Africa. So they built it in Nigeria, but they pass them through Niger and then Algeria and then to Europe. You see how Africa don't take advantage of it. Again, example, Congo, Salon, one of the highest producers of lithium, sweet bonita. None of these countries where China be doing lockdown, Tesla struggle for produce the electric cars there. And the lithium, and then they take from make the battery for electric car. Africa did not take advantage of it. Then for make now, we don't budget them. Then tell we say, then Salon, then tell we say, wait till we get now with water. We could be making 5 billion every year. No. But you know what? Even this budget where are they need? I nearly want to cry. Salon, we revenue when we make last year, 2022, based on like the exchange rate, if that's true, like it's only $500 million. But until we say we could be making 5 billion every year. No, you see the problem we get, these people all get the right project, all get the increased taxes upon people. Even when you look at the budget, they increase tax, they project for increased tax in 2023. But where is the tax base? They kill businesses them every day, but yet still want to increase. So this is a country where they try to squeeze water from stone.
To be honest, I just want to hold you down when you have just mentioned on the tax increase in Sierra Leone, because we've seen companies, for example, Air France will stop in October. They start doing refunds to people that they owe. We've seen where now it's a few days ago, FedEx also have stopped now. And then we've also heard about DHL. So it looks like most of these companies are stopping to operate in Sierra Leone. Because again, for those of us that travel to Sierra Leone, I think Sierra Leone is the most expensive country in West Africa. Because you go into Sierra Leone, it costs you like, let's say, £1,000. Going through Guinea, it costs you like £500 to £600. And getting to Freetown, it costs you 1.2 if you have to go in and come out for Freetown City Airport, which you've already paid airport, but you still have to pay an airport tax. So all these constraints, people like us now will choose, I will not travel through Freetown anymore. I will go to another country because, again, me buying tickets to that country, I'm adding to the economy. Sierra Leone is not thinking in that line. And most of the tourists we have in Sierra Leone are us Sierra Leoneans. I can literally tell the government for you to have foreigners that are not Sierra Leoneans, let's say children or people that have come here, changed nationalities and stuff, but people that are not Sierra Leoneans are not. Most of the money you're getting are from Sierra Leoneans. So how are we going to move forward? Because somebody's trying to go and invest and you're putting all of those taxes on them, then it's going to be tough. Because now if you go to Waterkey, the airport, like people ship stuff, it's so expensive. Something that you used to pay for, let's say, £100, now it's about 150. They tell you when I get to Freetown, I can't even get my goods. So where are we going as a nation? And for him to still come and impose himself on the people is just worst.
You see, that's another a topic for another day. How he imposed himself, upon the people, and hopefully we will touch base on like the old statement of like the American ambassador. I think people we focus a lot about the MCC. The impact of what like David Reimer said is beyond just waiting we lost on the MCC. For me, myself and the guys, we've been writing letter to MCC and say, look, you guys are responsible for the abysmal state of Africa, or Sierra Leone to be specific, because everything that is going on, and you're still thinking of granting like this MCC money to Salon. Are you guys serious? We've been putting pressure on them. It's just that I think they use like this whole election thing, which was so blatant. Although some of us we foresaw this thing, like we knew they were going to do this anyway. But you see, it's a topic for another day. Let's go to like the tourist thing that you asked. You see, these guys seriously, they're a bunch of jokers. Sometimes I look at the way they talk. I look at the way like when they go on 98.1 or whatever, to these TV platforms, the SLBC, the way they talk, and they see proper immature people where then they claim say, oh, they don't work now, World Bank, they don't work now. This I would to be honest, I'm intrigued to kind of like understand exactly what these guys have been doing. Now, them place they are with them go work, because some of these guys, if they were really like in the middle of things where decisions are made, I don't feel say the thing that when they do not salon, they will ever do one. You see, because it's all good for me you work in a World Bank, but what's really you been the do day? You see, it's easy. We know it's a society in this country. Like, what do you do? You see, when you look at the country, then the claim say we try for diversify we economy, we try for improve tourism and all that thing. Let we not even. And one thing where I want to make clear here, people saying that, now the economy, now you talk about, like politics, and look, it's geopolitics. Geopolitics, it's a huge topic in economics. May no economics person or economists not tell you say, oh, me now economics nobody talk about, I need to talk about politics. That is a rubbish statement, and like very, at times it only annoy me now say for many people in the talk, because no economic policy would work without like the political climate. None at all. You see, the problem with the face that we country, how can you tell me about tourism, but yet still you kill people in our Kenya? How can you tell me about tourism, yet still the institution, then they boast for rigged election? How can you tell me about tourism where the judiciary cannot be trusted? How can you tell me about tourism where the police cannot be trusted? How can you tell me about tourism where like the political climate is not conducive, and you tell me about tourism? It doesn't work. And again, it goes back, the political side to the tourism is there. But like the tax side, like what you talk, so you prefer to go through Guinea rather than traveling to Sierra Leone. All of these things get serious knock-on effect. But guess what? This is a government where introduced something we call MAT, minimum alternative tax. For God's sake, give me a break, guys. How can a country with a struggle for improving tax base, Owanka, in fact, like now, I think it don't even slow down. They call me Omori. And I'm fan for myself. That name, I'm fan for myself. Because you see, my papa be get one parable, and I'll say this over the years. I've always been saying, my papa they tell me say, when you want to call alligator on the water, you need to call, you need to ever call him a real name. You always call him Omori until he come out inside the water. Then at the time you actually kind of like they call him a real name. The reason why I say that, tax not to the end itself. Tax is the means to the end. In other words, you cannot use tax for kind of like you say you increase tax because then they think say, oh, you know what, let we get a Boku tax, let we try for increase with revenue to GDP ratio. You see, they got their own textbook thing in the pan. Let we increase with revenue to GDP ratio. Again, this is something I've been saying over the years. The country, them, the biggest economy in the world, the America, that makes like 23 trillion every year of their GDP. The China that makes like 16 trillion. The Japan that makes like 5 to 6 trillion. The Germany that makes like 4 trillion. The UK that makes like 3 trillion. The France that makes like 3 trillion and stuff like that. And by the way, do you know, again, guys, do you know France, the 6th biggest economy? Then GDP, a big past the entire Africa of 54 nations, who side the natural resources that they come out? But again, we'll talk about that some other time. Guys, all this country, go check their revenue to GDP ratio. The country that will get the highest revenue to GDP ratio are the Scandinavian countries then, because of like the social, you know, governing pattern. America, when are the biggest economy in the world, their revenue to GDP ratio is about 31%. The Scandinavian, the Denmark, the Norway, they've got like close to 50% revenue to GDP ratio. And you cannot use tax for gather for cool revenue and then you will kill your tax base. And imagine this government got introduce minimum alternative tax. In other words, when you sell, you pay tax on it. Or you get away, wait till you sell. Oh, then they get GST inside the back. When they tax people and GST back, then you will go add minimum alternative tax. You say you are collectible revenue. What do you think? Wait till you think. Instead of you increase your tax base, where you ready before you call, you wait until the alligator come on at the water, before you call them a real name, you don't already call them alligator. Why you not go begin the bio these guys? Tax is not the end itself, it is the means. And all these things that when you can see Salon, you the worry say, for God's sake, the suffering of Salon is man-made. It is man-made. Nobody will tell you say, oh, it's a global crisis. We don't take advantage of the global crisis. As Africans, we don't take the global. Why are we not able to attract Tesla? Right now, as I talk to you, Tesla will go open factory in India. Why not Africa? Who side the original team they come out? All we say they don't even open Tesla battery. May they open the battery now Africa. Lithium. Congo is the highest producer of lithium. Why not Congo? But they go prefer for ship their natural then raw material there to China. Create employment to China. You know, create for the youth. And then they take the thing and produce them for the rest of the world. But come on, man. We take with timber them. Send them go China. Then when we send them to China back, China make chair, table and chair. Then we the very Sierra Leone them. We the boss back say, oh, this new chair we're gonna be pala. Now China go buy her. They go, come on, man. Come on.
Well, I think before I bring Comrade and Castle in, I'm just gonna talk to you about the electricity and also fuel subsidies in Sierra Leone. Because as you were talking about, people are buying goods, they pay tax, there's GST, and also they sold items, they are paying tax. One thing we've noticed, the cost of fuel now, the previous administration was paying. That was 7 years ago. That's within the APC, was more higher compared to what the SAPP paid in the last 5 years. So even though they are paying less than what APC paid, but people that the consumers, the customers that buy these units from ETSA are not getting anything. So where would we go? Whilst you are thinking of that answer, I think I would like to bring that he will be able to ask your question on the supplementary budget. Commodore Lancaster.
Oh, thank you very much, Sweet Bonita. Thank you very much, Mr. Cashbox. I don't listen to the discussion on the platform, and as well as they enjoy other people themselves, for the viewers themselves, they enjoy the conversation. And I can see the frustration from Mr. Cashbox himself about how then guys they treat we the people of Sierra Leone. And then come they boast about waiting they can do for the country. And now the country don't wreck at the bottom of the index in terms of everything. And you know, listen to you talking about the supplementary budget and come to the you touched a little bit about the geopolitics and economic, macroeconomics. Miss SF, just like you say, you study economics, but you got to talk about global change, the global politics, how it affects the economy in the world. Miss SF study politics, and I do macroeconomics inside politics. You understand? So that's not a topic on its own. You get for do for letting know the how events they affect the economy of a country or a region at the world. So these are very things that we intertwine then they together. You see, so we cannot avoid all of these political activities that would happen in the world. Within the happen in Nigeria, so it affects we in Africa by one way or the other. You know, and Sierra Leone is not an exception. So, but we get for use every political event to your own advantage. If you're not good economist, who you in a country for anything where they happen na any other country, na a neighboring country, na the region, you can use them to your own advantage for let you able for benefit more by studying the trend, and then you go make economic policies that will be able to help your country own economy. You see, but now these guys don't know. Waiting, I believe, say them believe them want for do now for just how for bring come more money for squeeze the people them out of the small way they get for then it's boast around for say, oh, we don't generate revenue, the biggest revenue, tax revenue ever we don't get since APC. These are the kind of things they boast of. They don't know say then they affect themselves, then they affect the people who they do small business at the country. But I want for first of all ask you a question, Cashbox, about you know we touched small about the interview where the American ambassador gets nah, this AYV or something like that, one of the radio station there so. And
Nice.
this interview so SLPP, APC, then they use against each other. You know, they some of them they say yes, the man confirm for say yes, the elections get problem, and then therefore can investigate the problem. Then other people in the scene, in as much as they say that, we also confirm say Mother Biona the president. And the election review wey they talk about, I for let them do a review for the next election going to happen 2028 or something like that. So a lot of debates that go on at the social media. So what thing are you want to take on this particular statement we did as a country? Because as far as some of we concerned, we don't have a government in the country. We just get a bunch of people them we seem like to see the one for top administration of the country. We do not sabi. And Sierra Leoneans then they're in a limbo at the moment. So we really therefore look at the situation very critically and probably explain to we what you then envisage as Sierra Leone, because not only the economic problems for people in the stuff are right now, the political atmosphere is very volatile at the moment. Arresting they take place all over the place. People are disappearing all over the place. So what do you picture in this kind of atmosphere of this so from waiting the American ambassador, talk about this interview?
Thank you, Bankasu. Now this again, I remember one story within a salon and say, um, um, salon go play Mali or so. Then, we during half time, now the Malian player go tap. I think Kamadu Buya tap on her back. He say, "Mon ami." Now Kamadu Buya say, "You wait. I don't want you wait second now." Owankasu Salon. we not see that yet. This suffering, we not see that in it. If things do not change drastically and very, very quickly, we not see that yet. The interview, and by the way, like if I should just mention very quickly about this budget, and please, we now the supplementary budget, I just laid the premise as to waiting supplementary budget mean, it was unnecessary. It show like the immaturity of the government, but also Owankasu. You see, these governments, they're full of rhetoric. I remember there was one time, I don't know that one prime minister, them where we the budget, we say this is not the people's budget. But go check waiting within the budget. Was it really about the people? How can you draw up a budget where it be say a family of four require 4 million or so for each every day, but the minimum wage in the country is 600, 800,000, and you're telling us that the budget is like the people's budget? I mean, it's laughable. These guys are not serious, Owankasu. But if I should go to your message, your question about the David Reimers. You see, the problem with the face now with country and Africa, we self not serious. Um, I know you guys like were not happy with our stance, especially our platform, because we knew like getting to this stage, waiting here for left now to go get for commodity, and I left for left get for commodity. You see, but you see like um um and I will direct them to Una because Una na APC that this is APC platform. And I think APC did not do their homework properly at all. They will tell you, say, oh, Madabiona bulldozer, Madabiona is so undemocratic. Look, guys, every leader not selfish motor man. Selfish, they're selfish, every leader. But anyway, I don't want to go that side there. I don't want to spoil Una day because surely, like they're going to watch Una now for see what I get for say, but I'm not going to go down that route. The problem with it is that the fact that we allow this government for rig the election way, way before this year. Sometimes, like I was thinking about something. How can APC, people in the parliament, sat in parliament and then they procure the person where they print the ID card them? APC did not know who that print the ID card up to this day. APC, the parliamentarian, did not know, or they don't even know who that print we ID card them up to today. This is, a joke. Salon, na a joke. Then will tell you, say, if you ask Vishnu, oh, Madam Yo will go kill you. Oh, they get life. Oh, you want me to go kill them? Oh, they're not the country. Madam Yo, you see, this is not the problem where we get. So we allow to get to this stage. Like then delete 250,000 people that are registered. APC they pointed it out before that they even come back and lie per week say they don't add them. Only a couple of weeks ago, that in terms Honorable Abdulkar Bokanta will say they don't be ever add them people like this. We ask for the proof. We say, come on, show us the proof. The reason why I'm saying all these things, Owankasu, now because who side we get so right now, we get in a very funny position. Hey, wait, man, you and I know we live in this country. Now the most hypocrite people. Now this name Mama can say you hypocrite like Dotishimi. Wait, man, the hypocrite bad. The statement of David Reimer, hey, now balance ball, Nigeria, balance ball, Nigeria. It appease the APC, it appease the SLPP. Where they talk like that, say, oh, well, the election is not credible and all that. But yet still, they come back and tell them and say, oh, well, men try to go into dialogue. David Reimer can never condone those things in America. To make something wrong, he still tell and say, we're going to go dialogue. You see, again, it goes back to if you allow make something go wrong in Africa, if you not challenge the status quo, get things them right, this is the situation where we the infant of one country and say Bonita. Now, waiting the real message clearly point out the rigging tactics. How can you tell we say make the people that go to parliament? Okay, hold on. You say they go to parliament. But what if I don't know if I got around APC gets about 50 something seats according to the results we come out. What if the actual result would have given APC 70 seats in parliament? So now you tell us say men and forfeit like 20 odd seats in parliament, men and just go inside it. Then you say they need to go represent them people. Them. What if that 20 people and the real representation they don't give them? Is that a true representation? This is the problem. You see, you say the hypocrite they come out, even when in no say something wrong, but in the same dialogue, you come and go to parliament, in the encourage them to go to parliament. So even the talk say, oh, well, meaning they say, Madam, we need to come and say not to the president. But yet still, what the MCC stands for is the fact that you can't forget good governance, democratic principles, rule of law, and all that thing. The SLPP feel that I make or the talk say they might not get the money, they don't give them like the money. You see the double standard, how we they play, they give we sweets now, then we want give we vitamin. This is a joke. This is a joke. And this now waiting, we get to understand one thing. Africa is the next big thing if we take advantage of it. And the West also, they see we as competitor. However, there is nothing wrong for me to be a competitor if we're serious. We can be like a healthy competitor if we're serious because we get what it takes. But say these guys, they kind of like go. I mean, for me, there is something I'm trying to build up. The West, like this inflationary issue where they face, so they get to understand, say they need Africa to produce more. So the inflation, because if Africa not produce, Africa now one of the biggest, youngest population of the world. I watched like a video a couple of days ago. Now, Italy. Then they show one town where they say the old people and the Boku pass the death rate seem for Boku high past the birth rate in Italy. They're worried about their population. And China, they're worried about their population. The US, they're worried about their population. They become ageable. They become old. So people in Game of they will work for the pension. Guess what thing will happen? They're going to begin to give visa now. Yeah. And somebody tell me in there, he said at Salon, the number of visa they want to give right now. People are going to jump. Oh yes, then they give them visa. But you know the problem? When they go to America to go sponsor the old age people. Where we be say we get what it take. All the resources are in Africa for make we youth them get jobs. We get the youngest population. So if Africa fails for produce, the West will always get the impact of inflation. We have to understand these things. And
Okay.
Africa get for produce.
Okay, Cashbox. Don't listen to you. You mentioned something about the young population of Africa, and you talk about the situation with the political atmosphere, the way we stand right now, and we young population right now, they can go down the drain. This generation of young people who get Nasalo right now, a generation of push. They don't lost education. I can tell you now, 70-80% of the young people then we go for can take leadership in the next 5-10 years to 20 years. Now push generation that one day. They not go school, they not sabi nothing, and they don't lost the potential for make them able for develop a country. And in the next 10, 15, 20 years, Sierra Leone, me not get good hope for Sierra Leone. The old guys they will get, and therefore extinct, and therefore will have and we know they continue to get old people them we for run the country with young people in there. And it affect we right now. You mentioned about young people, them young population. We don't lose with young population for the next 20 years. Okay. Now, in this current atmosphere of day, waiting APC don't the stance where they don't take in terms of not going into parliament. And one of the people that will be the talk strongly in our social media about how we for make sure see we don't agree at certain things them and we don't allow certain things that will happen for the sake of peace in the country. Because we feel say when the election come, we they win the election and then go give we the winning. Even though the election we win them, but they not give we the election. Waiting the stance we don't take so now. You think say we for stand on that position there or we for do like how you know the game way certain people will play along till the next 20 years. What do you think?
I want to say By the way, before I go to that question, I see somebody they send message say, I think now Mixer say in the most simplest term, what is supplementary budget? First of all, Mixer, you're late. But because
Now, can we move, please? Because we also that was the beginning of it. Please, let's just
no,
thank
Mixer
you.
late, so you will watch the video later. We talked about it, but I gave a scenario about it's something where they can add. There was no need for make that. But anyway, Mixer, go back because you're late. Those of us late cover anyway. Like if I be teacher, I don't tell you ways for you 6 course. But anyway, anyway, you see, like I say, for make we waiting on Puel Africa, we dey condone too much dirty. Just we dey talk say for peace. And again, how can we talk about peace where there isn't justice? Um, you know, um, it's a shame for me. The stance by APC endorse them 100%. 100%. It's not even something. Me no can begin it. This is the reason why I make for me I frown at David Reimer. You clearly they tell we say there were irregularities now the election, but yet still you they encourage the APC to go represent their people. 53 people. And if irregularities did not be take place, they could have had more representation. The people could have had more representation, but it was stolen from them. But yet still, you tell people and for make them go in parliament for go represent them people. Is that a true representation? For me, I think you see even the bio when the bio the APC them say, oh, let me give them something to encourage them. Look, democracy not a thing way cheap. People fought for it. That's why we did so delicate today, the UK, the America, and stuff like that. People fought for it. People then die for this democracy where we dey enjoy delicate today. Poor Congo market, but they enjoy democracy in the UK because people fought for it. How can like with the beginning bio the MP them let we dash them small thing so like them go kind of like stay like no it's because you for make this MP them stay angry for many not eat because they fight for democracy people what you go talk about Evangelist Samson also in a cockroach una now when I just for make una sacrifice una money. Can you imagine? People in the tell we say, oh, they don't go to us, they don't go do this. But again, it goes to waiting how people they conduct election na salon. But make like with the sit down people and go take money for go. You know that make them consider the regulation are there. You cannot go and kind of like go take money anyhow. But I tell you what, Owankasu, this stance of the APC, now make what can they say 6 months. But you will not give them 6 months. As long as this government continue to stay in power, you guys will not participate. You should not tell us about 6 months because I guarantee you, but of them be there. So say, and they say, oh, we give them the 6 months no more. After the 6 months, we all go back because they're desperate. This thing, it's something these guys them because it is good for future generation. Like what you talk to, look at the youth them now. We supposed to encourage them, bring them come up. Before that, this government start with fake free education. Imagine, then wake up with free education. The first time voters, they kind of like disadvantage them for make them not register. Hey, una wake up with free education. I mean, now for take advantage of the one that went in the vote first time because they don't enjoy from una free and quality education. Why would not disadvantage them back? You see the gimmick, you see the game that is being played. Then the very people that will enjoy the free and quality education, now they una no one make them register. This is the game. Owankasu, the APC. For me, yes, I am angry with these people, but I tell you one thing, if it calls for make a big them, because some of these times is going to take Salon now a different platform. They go no say, like when we do that kind of thing there, even investors there, if they look them thing, if I remember, when Goodluck Jonathan came na Salon, he was talking about the election. It made a statement where he say investors are cowards. And it is so true. Over the years, I've been talking about the three acronym them way investors when they look at the SLY acronym SLY, which is security, liquidity, and yield. And the yield na profit. Liquidity now where like if our exit salon, I get like a willing buyer, we go and can buy them and all that thing, and then it can be it's easily tearable, the investment and all that thing, and then people and they where they wait now the touch line for come buy because salon is interested, like an interested place to invest. And then the security, which is the top of the list. That is what they look at first, the security. Because investors sometimes they don't just look at profit, they just look at how they for diversify their portfolio. That's saying when they say no put you egg in one basket. Basically that is how they think. So sometimes they even get their money, but they just don't want to put on one place because if they put on one place, that side they crash. Something happen with that side, then they lost all their money. So sometimes they just want to diversify the investments. And this is the thing. What's in APC they do so right now? Look, me papa get one parable way they say, if na you sorry, excuse me language. They say if na you kakadable, say na you kakadable. The moment you begin to say car, devil, the reason why they say this now because if we say we don't adopt democratic principles, we're not democratic nation. Let's do things democratically. We're China a communist state, they stick to it. Investors then still find it they find appetite for China. We're still a democracy. Let's do things democratically because that is the way where like we go able people and place confidence in we. The reason why Africa they suffer today, it is because of confidence, lack of confidence. Because they go sit down, the people are like a neck, go sit down no more announce the results where they feel for announce. Police, it go kind of like come defend the government because you know make our Madabio will say, oh, you know, support them. You get the military, you get the ONS, you get different people away. Anytime when something happen bad, they get for can talk something for appease Madabio. And this is the problem. I want us to be stands by APC. If APC shake, not only do they destroy the country, but they destroy the confidence where people have placed in them. Because this stands, I tell you, it shape with democracy if they stick to it. I have no doubt. People are not beginning to tell you, oh, like the money, oh, well, this is not good. The people are need represent. Okay, if APC, when them be go there the last time, what in APC able to do? They not always say them bulldoze them. They not always say them, they kill them, they slap them, and all that. Yeah. So what's the point in going there? And now it's even going to be worse.
Yeah.
It's going to be worse. Look at the number of seats where they go accumulate for themselves. Funny, we're going to stick to this point and let democracy prevail in our country.
All right. Over to you, Sweet Bonita.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Cashbox. Again, I think before we move on the next topic, which is about the protest and stuff, just wanted to say again, and this is an appeal to the MPs. Some of you are more eager to go for the money, but one thing we have to say, we need to think about Sierra Leone and think about the poor people, because again, Cashbox have just taken it out of my mouth. We can see during the last government, which was the SFPP, that's where we saw a military police personnel to enter the wall of parliament, which that has never happened, and it is wrong to kick people out, parliamentarians out, remove them, pass laws. So what will be different? And again, what people need to remember is a PR system. They did not vote for parliamentarians, they voted for the party, and the party said abstaining. So if you really believe and trust your party, then I think you should follow what the party has said. But again, I'm also appealing that the party will take a very stand for those that have gone in there, because maybe this is why others are saying, well, let me go again. Because as we all see, we want peace in the country. And I think that's the only way is for the APC to abstain from this particular regime that we have in the country, so that we can move forward as a nation. Because again, if that continues, then we can see that Sierra Leone is running on a one-party state, which is not within our constitution. But when it comes to SFPP, we saw within the last administration that whatever is not in fact in the constitution is what they will do. Because even the opening of parliament, their so-called Speaker of the House says, if the APC are not coming into parliament, it is wrong for us to open, because we cannot run a one-party state. Now, these are the same people saying, okay, if the first list have refused to come, we'll go to the second list. Again, these are APCNs. If they said no, is a no. So there is no way you go in second, third, or fourth. But again, I just want to mention What would this impact be? Because again, we've seen protests happening. I think it started in America, the UK took over, Belgium took over, Australia, Holland, and now Scandinavia. What is the impact on that of Syria? Two countries we've seen, the UK and the American. So what do you see Sierra Leoneans doing in the diaspora to help the people in Sierra Leone? Because they are not protesting for themselves, they are protesting for the ones that are in Sierra Leone.
Look, sweet Bonita, I think say we all get to play with part, and I think the moves by the aspirants, for me, I think it's been very, very good. The only thing where I see these days is like it's like I say, it only become more of a picnic show. Let we go show we serve, let we go liquid glasses, we designer glasses, let we go show we waiting we made up of, let me just go enjoy research. We get to be disciplined and serious about these things. You see, and I understand we like sometimes it is difficult, and I believe like the UK, for instance, I think I've been kept in the loop of things a little bit. I think like there is a scheduled meeting or so with like the prime minister, because I think parliament is on recess right now, maybe next month. You see, it's the follow-up that is going to be very, very key to to all this protest. We have to be very, very serious and focused, with this protest and all that thing, because may not just be like a show for for showcase like ourselves and all that. And I seem for the CM so slowly, even though it might not be the case. Again, we therefore be in a jubilant mood to do it. I understand that, but we get to be very serious about this. What is going on in our country, people? It's a very, very serious thing. Like somebody go, I see somebody they talk about like, oh, APC, the people and they make a story like APC, them in they by one party state and all that. And look, I understand that, and it was wrong. But however, it was like something where now be the pattern, now the trend at that time. If even it's not the trend, one party, it is also like it was acceptable. People kind of like say, oh, it was the culture. But it came to a point when we say, okay, democracy is now the thing. And we have to. Why people they make example to it and say, oh, like there'll be one party states like the tender where they go? Because now it is not the culture, it is not the pattern. But you cannot try that. You see, again, sweet Bonita, the problem at the face with Salon people, we're not genuine. Imagine after the protest say they rigged the election, people and then at the SLPP side will go get that themselves because they were appease like Madabio, go get that themselves, then say, oh, like people and they will want to destroy Saloni name. Okay, Saloni name. Is it a lie for say they rigged the election? Mohamed Kanawi Kone, like then they tell him say like the result not come out, it's not put local, but it gets in result already. Was that a lie? You see, this sometimes I see that video and I will even watch them reach 2 minutes because now the pattern this will get our country. It's like SLPP need for dance for the government, APC need for dance for their own party. You see, it's like I say, like now a show where like let me just go play the game. Like they get there, get mine. Then she don't. Then send them in London. Then they protect or whatever call themselves. They say, oh, the people in the give bad name to Salon. Hey, bro, was it not seen that the elections were clearly rigged? And then when they come now and one portrait like I say, no, like we now people want to give the country bad name because when I want to try to make matter be say like the life on them. So they kill when they kill people them now making now lie their life on them, now panemba now lie their life on them, even though them woman when they go kill the day for the election. Or after a day or two after the election, now in a lie their life on Mother Bioba. Then when I go tell we say when I go bad name in the APC. But going back to the point, all this protest, there must be like a strategy. What is the aim? Waiting with the aim for achieve. It is not just from let we go begin to go there on the sand. I lick me glasses. They go take you some power with glasses, then I history to the buyer. So it doesn't mean anything. But the point is, Like, we have to be serious. The follow up to these messages is what's going to be critical in these things and what we do. Not of just go begin to pass and say, oh, like, yeah, we don't have protest today. It is about the follow up strategy. Now, will be very, very key. Because
Yeah.
you see, somebody will say, oh, well, why would I give bad name to the government? No, we don't give bad name to. If the government do the right thing, some of us will stand up and say, no, this is wrong. We not come and portray certain things. We have to follow up on this and protest.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think you mentioned about the one party state under the APC. I think again we always need to go into history. The one party state, when they said APC had a one party state, it was imposed by Albert Magai. So APC took governance and they decided to execute it. And which is the same thing that SFPP has done in this particular one. They've brought in a PR system. They've lost the election. But the only way for them to clinch on power, they decided to ask the electoral commissioner to announce them as the winner. Because if that would have happened the way it went, I don't think SFPP had up to 50 parliamentarians in parliament.
Right.
So at the end of the day, it means after this 2028 election, they will reduce. Because if somebody knows it's a one-party state, I'd rather stay in the party that is going to be in governance.
Yeah.
Needs to go back. The of APC doing a one-party state, it was imposed, it was put forward by the SFPP and they lost an election. So based on that, APC took over, decided to exercise the right that they've put in place. So again, when we are talking about one-party state, we always need to mention that part of it. APC did not just come and turn Sierra Leone into one-party state. But moving forward, I think again, as you said, the follow-up when it comes to all these protests, it's something that definitely, as I said, it's something new. Because there are certain countries doing protests now, it's new. So people don't really know what to do and what not to do. They said, okay, other countries have done it, let us do it. So again, they need to be guided through the process, how to follow up, and what will be the next call. Because if you are going there, you let people know, then they can go with you, you see what is happening. But again, it's something that we are learning. It's a learning curve. But again, I think I need to call on to Commodore Wankasu to come through and tell us what will be again. Because we've got 10 minutes, Commodore Wankasu. We said one
Okay.
minute.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sweet Bonita. Yes, I Cashbox they talk about the protest and people in the league glasses for go show off and bluff and stuff like that. I mean, people by nature, when they go in a public place, then they go meet up in a gathering, regardless, even if in a begging, then they go passive. So man can want look good when they go na the begging. You know, in this case, the organizers of this protests, they I believe say they all they coordinate country to country. One of the best way I don't see on video. I saw film and not able for go there. Now the one Holland, then this year, when they go actually present a dossier of cases them. And up till now they depend upload evidence system. Now a special place where they give them for upload evidence system of waiting and waiting, you know, these guys they don't do na Sierra Leone against ordinary citizens. Which they happen today, then get the chance now for load then thing and the cases then the indictments then of certain people then we don't run this government in the past 5 years, and we're satisfied, we're getting somewhere. The organizers then they wait for the feedback. They wait for the feedback. But for attract the people and for let them come, some people don't know waiting for do. Then they pull money now, they send for them, fumble them, the money just to go disappear because things are very hard, and they are very stressed within the other parts of the world, yeah. And very stressed. So it's like when they invite them for go by a protest, you have to make the protest attractive. That make publicity day. That make they publicize them, people in the publicize them, put flyers and put them all over the place. So they don't go able to come, they can listen to the message and see which are the procedures that the organizers and they take. So we therefore sort of commend them for the effort that they make for actually left them business, then come out and come cry, We are Sierra Leoneans there. We're not used to all of this. We can just sit down and we host and they cry about certain things that already happen. For come on and do for go talk to somebody, very difficult. This is the reason why some of we now, we dey admire the white people. People when are white people, we don't determine say we they go for go protest. They go out and they go daily, they spend their time, then days them, they take holidays, and travel different countries them, for go protest about one green thing no more. You see, but we not used to this. Now that we don't begin to encourage people to come out, this is the biggest I have ever seen in the world. This time around, Sierra Leoneans them right across the globe, and they come out, they mobilize themselves, come out and come protest for something with the happen in the country. People are psychologically, you know, drained by waiting in the year for the past 5 years. They don't tire. People are fed up. So I think say we get for commend the people that will come out as well as the one that we organize in here. And we get another one with the come at the UK. We're black in the park. Budget Park on the 28th of this month, Monday bank holiday. We encourage everybody for come na Budget Park. We want to invite we picking them. Make we picking them can see waiting make we complain every day. Waiting make we stress every day. Because it happen. Cashbox, it happen. Mama then dip and strain, they grumble every day, then picking and not able to understand which make mama the strain, which make it complain, which make it stress. Because what they happen as salon, the picking in the yeri, but they need to understand, they need to feel the vibe too much. So the one for bring them picking and come on the 28th, na budget back, make them picking can see waiting really then parents and they go through. The families, then the auntie, then the uncle, then waiting to go through na Sierra Leone. So then say will be part of them. So I believe say it's very important for make them protesters so they happen. And then, make young picking in the camp. Because where we go, we young picking and go for take up and see how we fight for democracy. So when democracy is being, bastardized by we leaders them, then self go no say, now this me daddy or me mama be the do before. Let me self stand for the rule of law. Let me self stand for democracy. I don't know how you see that one day, Cashbox.
No, no, absolutely. And by the way, we are talking about the class system. I mean, not to say are the jealous one that we get first one that pass me. I was just making the point that let it not be about just for the show of like the protest. We should do follow. We should make sure we're very very strategic in this protest. Like so. I totally get it, and of course salon people we like for bluff anyway. So I'm not got a problem with that, but we get to make sure it is all about the strategy. It is about following these things them up, and like what you they say. So the black and the pack, like I remember like back in the days, even with the ICC, I believe like we've written letters to the ICC in the past, and again you see with this protest whole thing, Owankasu, I love the fact that it is happening now, but all of these things that were the protest for. So let's be very very honest. They were all preventable if only we don't take the right stance. We left it in
And
the hands of
what's in
W.
the stance?
For again, like for instance, how I give example to the ID card. How can Parliament come and tell we say they not sabi who that print with ID card, even they like it today, they don't know.
Yeah, but then raise concerns. Then you see
Mm,
when you're
no,
talking to
I
a
don't want
government.
to I don't want to drag this, but I tell you one thing: they raised the concern, but waiting the constitution tell we say like the anything where like the opposition 20% of members of parliament can raise a motion for make anybody they invite in a parliament. Another problem. Look, another problem for make they say they raise the motion, but the person no come. But did they do it? The ECSL, we don't see the rigging pattern of like the ECSL long time ago. But the constitution tell we say 20% can actually raise a motion for call anybody in a parliament. Did they do it? So some of
Cashbox.
these things we have to pay attention to it. I understand. Look, Now it's spilled milk now. But the point is, most of these things, the 250,000 people that were deleted for One Castle, we went on the rooftop, shout about these things. Did they fix it? No. Again, let me talk about what honest truth now. Yeah. People always they glorify Marcela Samba in detail where it pull in results where it pull. Marcela Samba in result, not ever tell we say APC won the election. It say them for go run off. Whether the APC or SLPP win, I do not. And the lead, man, or say win. Now the lead, I do not know. But maybe Marcela Samba in your result back, APC do not trust it. But Bokupa them now Marcela Samba then they use as a yardstick. Marcela Samba did not tell us APC won the election. It just say the election they go to runoff. Whether the APC lead or SLPP lead, I do not know. But the fact now is, let me kind of like get these things. If we were to go with what is Marcela Samba saying, which most of us were actually using as a basis for our argument, then like it could have gone into runoff. The only thing where they say Owakasu, this let we the people just stand up now because these politicians, as far as me concerned, because I can say one thing, the politicians in a salon they stand up against the people of Sierra Leone for rec salon because some of them in there, you ask me the question, say how therefore don't do it. They raise it. Is it just about raising it? How about passing the motion the right way the constitution give you? For call how we go sit up, but we don't know who that actually print with ID card now salon for the election. We serious? Then now we don't. Oh, now Admayabio, now they get the contract. Oh, now this guy, now so more news. Now we no text they don't know that printer. Okay,
no, but Cashbox, I think before the election, those were one of the concerns that were raised by the opposition, the APC, that we don't know who prints the election. I mean, the ID cards. We don't know if they have replaced back the 250 people that they deleted, which they did says, well, they have sorted that out because by telling people, okay, as long as you register, you have your slip, go there. Only for the day for people to get there and says, oh, you should have got an attestation that tells you to come here, which they also told us, like, as an observer, if you register here, you want to vote, you can vote, but you can only vote for parliamentary. You cannot vote for the rest of the other things.
If I can just come inside briefly, remember, not all APC raised say they don't know who that printer. Now, where the ID card come out in black and white, now they say all man begin to say na admire beyond and printer. All man they talk say, oh, na Mr. Jack and printer. Not all APC. The point why they make now is this. Before that, the APC had opportunity for call Mohamed Kanal Kone, we give them the right. It is in the constitution. For call Mohamed Kanal Kone for Kana Parliament and can answer questions. They did not. Show me in the record where the APC actually called them for can talk in Parliament.
But have you also seen where the same Mohamed Kone is telling you he does not have the rights? There is no law that allows him to provide the results by polling centers.
Do you know that is true? Do you know the act where they passed in a parliament few months before the election? Do you know that actually the only thing where he get right for publish now the provisional voters list? In the act, I spoke to a lawyer, an APC lawyer, where I find out that's not the act. The guy, he begged me, he said, you are not talking it because right now we want all them. The only grounds where APC be get, now the fact that now good practice, now precedents waiting and people and we don't do, now the ground standing where them be all. But in the act, it don't give Mohamed Kanal Kone for publish the final voters list. Let's be clear about it. It was never in the act.
All right. Okay. Not in the act, but when you're talking about democracy, when you're talking about electioneering, transparency, in the key word.
Yeah.
Everything has to be on top of the table. So every party will participate in the election process for say yes, which you do is fair. And not in the act, but when APC come out with them press statement, they outline the numbers of things they wouldn't want for make Mohamed Kone do before the elections.
So this is the point. This is the point. You are a lawyer. You know how waiting to take precedence then, right? you know the pecking order of how the law they play. You can talk about say yes in order to the law, but waiting be really wrong for me to just catch them inside the law that you should publish it. They put under the law for make it publish the provisional one, but not the final one. Waiting be stop them from and you know too well say the law, the constitution or the act they take precedence to like judicial precedence or best practice and all that thing. And you know this crook there where we get in a salon. Now, only when you force them to do something, what stop them from doing it? So if he decides, say, okay, me, I use my discretion, it wasn't in the law, I'm going to go. But come on, man, everyone can see. These things were prevented. However, if we say the label on this point, trust me, we don't come on to do.
No. Well, again, all of this, I think it's for our viewers as well. Cashbox, because again, with this one, this is why I said during Albert Magai, this was the same thing they did when they lost elections. Every laws that they have passed, APC came into governance and exercised it, because as we know, SLPP did not win the election.
Yeah.
So if APC would have come into power and decided to exercise those rights, people will say APC have done X, Y, and Z. So this is why they still clinch onto the governance.
Yeah.
So there is no other way around this.
The last thing I would ever want to do right now is, I know what you talk. Albert Magai came with the one-party system, and then APC kind of like fully implemented it. The last thing I would ever want for make Salon go back. Now the bad laws them where SLPP don't do, the APC say we don't cancel. Now we can't implement them in full because we're not moving forward as a nation. That would never make Salon better. So for me, if APC will now make like where something happen, then we kind of like deal with them right there and there, because here and there. Because the problem with the face right now, if APC come and implement this thing, again, the C word is going to destroy our confidence. It's going to destroy the confidence people place on us. So there is no bad thing where some people they do now, where somebody go tell me, say, oh, when I wait somebody who can implement and for fine one. No.
Okay.
I would never buy that.
I think we come to the close of this discussion. Yeah, so it has been very, very electrifying, very, very good. The viewers they don't enjoy this so far. It's unfortunate that we don't get much time again. We don't want to keep on for too long.
But, can I for friendship's sake, for brotherhood's sake, for love of country, mix and apostle with Kangaroos? Can I just talk 2 minutes for like this supplementary budget, because this guy is not going. I don't say the guy will be lazy, not for go start the video again. But anyway, I'll do. I don't know if you want to give me that opportunity.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so you see, supplementary budget, nothing where you do when you feel say, and I give example, you just can make like an addition, you just can make correction, you just can kind of like do some enhancement and all that in there. However, I gave like an example to like the UK, the fact that when Boris Johnson took over from Theresa May, Boris Johnson had to do a supplementary budget. When Liz Truss took over from Boris Johnson, Liz Truss had to do a supplementary budget. When Rishi Sunak took over from Liz Truss, Jeremy Hunt had to do a supplementary budget, because the economic policies were different. Like they come with their own new vision. Salon non-day over 5 years, we don't get the same president. We say it gets a long-term vision, it gets a vision for Salon, and then for go do like a supplementary budget, we then tell we say the reason for doing the supplementary budget is because the MDAs them actually implement something we not be doing at the original budget. Again, we talked about like how did you even let the MDAs do something within the supplementary budget? We're not doing the supplementary budget. How did you, as a government, did not know waiting the MDAs then be supposed for do? Because a budget like 6 months. They read this budget like in November 2022. And then within 6 months, you didn't tell we say you can do supplementary budget. All water. It just tells you like these guys do not have a vision. They don't get a clear path as to whose side they want to go take with country. Because surely supplementary budget now, especially when you get a new leader, we get a new idea. Or wait happen. But when you can tell we say you do a supplementary budget because the currency devalue, The currency devaluation again that you earn, it's within your control. The whole price hike and all that. This is the reason why we talk about how Africa for don't take advantage of COVID, how Africa for don't take advantage of like Ukraine and Russia war, and we see them wait until we say Africa begin to take advantage of it because when Russia kind of like their problem, now then they go to Nigeria for go source the gas from them. So it is possible that Africa could have taken advantage of it. The supplementary budget was not necessary. Waiting is sure now just lack of vision and ideas by this government that they do not have a long-term plan. They do not even know what in budget mean. Because how can you set up a budget? How can you do a budget? You don't even know, like the people and they get paid 800,000, but for men and feed themselves just for food, they require 4 million. Is that a proper budget? So the supplementary budget does not make sense. And for me, you tell we say, oh, like now because of like the different things, them where within 6 months, like things don't change, and it is also based on like the IMF. How a country in budget they based on IMF policies and principles? How? How? For God's sake, you see, this thing we they talk about, this not a joke or one castle and quick bonita. We country get serious problem. How a country in budget they based on waiting IMF tell you now? Seriously? Anyway, big shout I hope I answer your questions more, but you owe me a drink for wasting time.
Thank you very much, Cashbox. We don't actually exhaust quite a number of topics them already at this place, and I'm glad that you stand 100% with the position of APC, not for participate in this undemocratic, setup within the bar, and glad that you support the demonstration the way they happen around the globe. And the one for Black in the Park on the 28th bank holiday, you did it because 3 years ago you did it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you come and bring and picking them, look and sabi
Yeah.
them, we all gel together, make them self understand what thing that they go through. Because most of the time, when you make you use them, then they around you, then they listen to you, and sometimes the knocking gets really what thing that they are. So come, bring them come, make them can see how that the fight for in country, how they fight for democracy. Because this time around, this position with this right now as a country, if APC lost this opportunity, democracy don't die in Sierra Leone. And I'm glad that you stand with them on this particular thing. It's difficult for the MPs them. And I believe say the SLPP one day they view in our successor will understand the reason why we dey try for fight for democracy. This is not about just coming to power. Believe me, if Samoa Kamara and call until this can't sit down on power and so the kind old way they meet in the day for cover in the next 5 years. The kind disaster we don't take place now with country, with economy, in the able, in the easy. Not to get the magic. The man is so honest that people in the sea and say, because of his honesty, now able for help the country economy for stabilize and
Yeah,
small.
I want us to that point. I know you're trying to do your final statement, but I don't agree that the whole way. Again, Salon people and get for understand. Salon, according to this budget, we will talk about so they project that Salon will make like $600 million a year. Again, I did tell you, Owankasu, like just on we water the research day. Wait till we say we could make $5 billion every year. That tells you waiting salon they currently make they not even reach 10%, or it's about 10% of waiting we can just make from water. So for me, saying that within 5 years, if you know we will cover that only, trust me, salon not even use 5% of we potentiality. And I believe that. So for tell me, say, excuse, say, the old way in it. No, all not the waiting we get, the old way we get now lack of ideas and initiative them how to make salon better.
Okay, well, I'll give you that because I'm more of an economist than myself. I don't learn a lot from you, so I will give you that one day. I'm not going to debate with you on that level day. So, but yes, we actually agree on a lot of things. Then, although some of the things then we're not able to agree, but this is the beauty of this platform. Even though now APC platform, we encourage SLPP members then for come and contribute, and people that we get free mind when I patriot them where they come for can talk to so for we get a discussion with able for benefits with country. Not to everything we get for agree on, but a lot of the things them for we country go before. Of course, yes, we go agree on them and on all the see the interactive exchange the way they happen at the platform. So, Sweet Bonita, yourself come in and just do your own wrap up, and then from there we will just call it a day.
Well, before I wrap up, I think we need to give Cashbox his final words to the people because again he's our guest. Let Cashbox give us his final message
But
to our
let Cashbox know say now him first for go take the bullets na salon because me know say the one that will be the cry na salon about the issues of ECSL. Oh, sorry, the issue of ECSL. You know, bringing out the list ECSL for publish this that all that stuff today. Now things that we MPs don't raise over and over and over in the parliament. And the last press statement with Samoa make na salon. It make and clear, it outline everything. The names of the people that wouldn't delete for be come back. The first time voters them, and for reinstate them. Who side them make the card? We get for no day. Who side then deliver the card? When then deliver the card? Who that receive the card them? Who side then carry the card them? All of them thing and the equipment they them bring come, the tablets, then whatever. He ask about all of that. He outline because I be day that room day with Samoga be they read in press statement. So I know they tell you say that he make all the demands and he give him 48 hours. You know, all of these way he outline, you know, now demands the way with but when the international community come inside, call the two parties them, they all go sit down, they all agree and sign a communique that the election has to be free, fair, transparent, credible, and violence free. They all sign up to that. So for God's sake, you they read election results where you know able for count yet. The dip and count. Then the man they read election results. That tells you say the man not even respect the communique where he sign. Somebody will not respect a constitution, you not respect an agreement with they sign. Let's forget about within the law they talk about, say between the law, they not the law for say, for pull the aggregated, disaggregated list or whatever from station to station. Yes, they did. But in an election, we say you are the person who is responsible for be transparent and neutral and for show clearly to the parties the way they contest. Yes, which we do fair, free, forward election for the things the one that we for go represent the political party APC, then drop the Nado, then kick the Nado. I was there. The regional office, na Makeni, the northern regional office, decided to Italy. Then the we now we team up, they will say we need a agree. They call army man, then they can't put them point gun them per we. We tell them say, well, una be don't shoot, una be don't kill before. So una kill we back. We wanna kill we will go for kill back tomorrow because who don't die, other people will for come back for can't stand against which una depend so. It happened in front of me face. Then from that moment they will know say yes, that they're not ready for we expect. They communicate. We call the international community were there. They're just there to take report of which everything happened. So with all of this, I believe say not only APC wants peace in the country, but there are also other international people we know say if APC stand and grounds to an extent, what would it for done at the country? So now make them decide, say, okay, when they wait, let them see how best they can for resolve this. You see, so in as much as APC want for be, peaceful, we get for no say, we self get for stand on the grounds, don't make sure say things are done, democratically. Otherwise, this particular opportunity will get so you will lose some if you do not get.
Yeah. I don't know if our workers will lost some. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a network issue.
The network, I think so. Now lost me for minutes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, you just wrap up. I mean, just to give you all sort of excuses.
I'm glad when you say you give me excuse because I love that. And their excuse that they don't want to say at all. And I used to talk and say the international community were only there just to observe. I used to talk and the destruction of APC starts where una begin rely too much on the international community. That is where the destruction really, really starts.
No, peace you want. Not peace. Because
No.
These
Well,
people
there
don't
is nothing wrong
come out on a daylight trying to assassinate, trying
Yeah,
to
but
assassinate a leader. They
yeah,
don't go out, don't shoot people them. I mean,
but
how
because
you go expect?
but because they don't wear una or Akasu, because when the man come and tell you about 72 hours, after the 72 hours now pass the time begin the bell week. Then as you they tell me the international community go tell and say how the international community go don't see blatant rigging pattern. Usai 250,000 people are not register. You still they tell and say, oh no, una go no more. Like una go into the election. Like basically they say, yeah, they tell the person say, yeah, I didn't they kill, but at the same you go there back, may they go kill you. It
No,
doesn't
but
make sense. But
Cashbox,
yeah,
this not for be against them against us. This not for be against them against us. This is a national thing where concern Sierra Leone,
but
where
I agree
concern
with that.
democracy
But
where
from
we
it
get
gets to
go for
I
all
want us
share
to
together.
I want us to
In as much
until
as you want to win an election,
yeah.
but you have to be democratic because the democracy and the constitution now in the hallmark of we peace.
Okay,
In the
I love
hallmark
that.
of we
But
peace.
the constitution, because as we dey talk about the constitution actually with all waiting Samuel Kamara they say and all anything in it, Samuel Kamara could have used the constitution to stand up. How you go into election, then the person they go to the blatantly pull 250,000 people and now una stronghold them. Pull them. Matter be your one election by 90,000 votes in 2018. 90,000. But it deletes 250,000 people and now they register. How matter be you go print ID card? I know same Samuel Kamara mentioned all these things them we they talk about so. But we not to picking them or Akasu. They mention them, they just can't give me sweet talk no more. If you see well, we all be the club. Now, you did it not the all, but me say them also as you don't so. They watch up. In fact, as if like almost nearly 1 hour, but the work where they do. In fact, I regret self why I left me 1 hour. Like I cheat me company. For go watch Samuel Kamari. They tell we say 72 hours. When is 72 hours done? Then we don't test them. Then we don't test all this look. I want us to we can labor on this point, but for we will go on and on. But even the fact that when they rig the election, so Bonnie Kali one, now because they don't test, that 72 hours was the point, the breaking point for APC. Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay,
So, by the
all
way,
right. Sweet
like,
Bonita, go ahead.
No, but wait. Is that Cashbox final words for one?
yes, yes, it is. It is.
Well, you know what? I just like to say good evening to all our viewers. Again, this evening we have Cashbox, who is our economist, which have come and analyzed. You know, we did not go on to our two currency in the country. Again, we did not talk about the two members of parliament from the APC that have gone into parliament so far. We're going to leave that for another day. But again, I want to say a very big thank you to our guests, which is Cashbox, and also to the viewers. And again, this is your platform. Every Sunday, we are here live at 7 UK time and 8 Europe time, and then 6 is going to be Sierra Leone time. I'll be here, Omaria to Mufti. And again, want to say thank you to our technical team, Dell, JS, Mo Bangura, who chopped my head off, Dr. Denke, because without these technical team, it will be very difficult for us to come on air on each week or each days that we come in live. So I want to say a very big thank you. And I would like to say good evening to you all.
Sweet Bonita, I just want to say a shout out to, of course, like me, Dr. Denke, very, very sweet guy. I believe say Una said they encourage Una to see, this guy is so sweet. I don't say it the hot fly self, but anyway, shout out to
A
you.
bad guy that want to.
Really,
No, no, no.
Bad guy that
I don't believe you.
So back to you, Comrade Wankasu, please.
Yes. Anyways, the viewers, then Mr. Abdul Latif Kagbo, Mr. Abdul Sultan Latif Kagbo. Yes, welcome. You get Kingsin, Mr. Kingsin. We do it on the platform, and then we get is it Ina May? In May, we get Mr. Denke, Mr. Abdullah Denke. We get Joseph Vandi. We get Simba Cole. Welcome. We get who else do we have? We get Saidu Suare. Thank you very much. We get Mixer. We get Prezo Song. We got Praise the Song at the platform. Alajike Kamara, also welcome. Praise the J, Alajike, Abdul Fofana, Lamin Denke, Blackman, Africa Blackman. Yes, so we got quite a number. We got Tyrese, we got all different people. They at the platform, the view. Thank you very much for joining this platform. And just like we sweet Bonita say, we're here again next week Sunday from 7 o'clock for Guna another interesting one like Guna. So today with Cashbox, we go get more guests that will come in with very good topics them for discuss. Over to you, sweet Bonita. I'm out.
Thank you so much. I would just want to leave this with our viewers because, again, as we said, every week we are here to give you the best and nothing but the best. Good evening, comrades all. Good evening, Sierra Leone, and God bless you.